Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star episode number 417 based on novel. So let's start. Luo Feng sat in the garden, holding a colorful crystal ball. There were halos on the ball, and these halos converged at a single point that looked like an eyeball. The crystal ball was the true treasure left by Sitting Mountain Guest. Teacher Sitting Mountain Guest indeed doesn't want to meddle. He left right after giving me this true treasure. Luo Feng shook his head. Sitting Mountain Guest gave Luo Feng the crystal ball and said, "Seal your life imprint on it, and then it'll recognize you as its master. Don't think about getting me into the human race. Remember, you need to kill another universe master if you want me to make you a true treasure. Of course, this is only the promise when you're still a universe knight. When you become a universe master, the requirement will be higher." He then teleported and left. This crystal ball, Luo Feng looked at the crystal ball in his hand, and his trace of godly power touched it. His life imprint was sealed on the crystal ball. No wonder it was made by teacher. There's no information at all. Luo Feng smiled. The valuables born in the original star often contain detailed information. As for valuables made by his teacher, it depends on Sitting Mountain Guest's mood. If he thinks it's necessary, there will be some information in it. Otherwise, there would be no information. However, it's easy to use. Luo Feng immediately knew how to use the crystal ball. There was only one level of engravings to control the crystal ball, and the godly blood's mental force would shout right out of the eye of the crystal ball. Even a universe knight would be able to drive it. It's a very simple true treasure. Luo Feng exclaimed. If it weren't for the godly blood, it would only be an ordinary true treasure. It looks like an eyeball, and the core is a drop of blood from a great being from an ancient civilization, so I'll call it Ancient God Eye. True treasure, Ancient God Eye? A true treasure whose level was difficult to measure but had destructive power against universe masters was more important than supreme true treasures in a race war. Luo Feng obtained Ancient God Eye and went back to the primal secret region. Horde Leader. Horde Leader. Luo Feng walked among the palaces, and all the universe knights, undying fighters, and sector lords saluted him. A war. Luo Feng could feel the universe masters around him. Lots of universe masters gathered in the palace where Primal Chaos City leader lived. They were all preparing for the coming war. Luo Feng. A being walked out of the main palace. It was Primal Chaos City leader's original body. Teacher? Luo Feng greeted him. Have you come here for me? Primal Chaos City leader looked at Luo Feng. The human race was facing a danger it had never faced before, and the main palace of Primal Chaos City leader was the core. He was controlling the entire situation and receiving the powers who came to help humans. Normally, nobody would visit Primal Chaos City leader if there weren't serious business. Yes. Luo Feng nodded. The godly blood has been transformed into a true treasure. That drop of godly blood? Transformed into a true treasure? Primal Chaos City leader was shocked and exhilarated. He, along with Luo Feng, Darkness Mesa, and Peng Gong Master had known about the godly blood for a long time. As for the other universe masters, they had no idea. Was it Craftsman Master or Sitting Mountain Guest? Primal Chaos City leader couldn't help asking. Sitting Mountain Guest. Luo Feng said. He didn't try to hide it. Some secrets needed to be covered when he was weak. However, he was much more powerful now, and he had nothing to worry about. No one would dare try to encircle him and seize his valuables. Your home planet, Earth, was created by that great being. I should have figured that you had some connections with him, said Primal Chaos City leader. Did you ask him to help us? I did, but he said no. Luo Feng shook his head. No surprise. Primal Chaos City leader shook his head. We don't have any Universe Supreme Masters on our side, so we're at an absolute disadvantage. Sitting Mountain Guest is very shrewd, so he won't join. How about the true treasure? Luo Feng smirked. Those whose minds are under Universe Supreme Masters can't resist it. Before, the power of godly blood was spread, so limit-level minds of Universe Masters were able to withstand it. Now, only the minds of Universe Supreme Masters could resist it. Wonderful. Primal Chaos City leader was overjoyed. With this true treasure, 90% of the Universe Masters will be rendered useless and we might be able to capture some Universe Masters. This true treasure is more useful than supreme true treasures. It is, Luo Feng said with a nod. This valuable can change the world, which is why I came here to tell you about it. I'll think about how to prepare for the war. Primal Chaos City leader nodded. You should go train yourself as well. When you become a universe master, the pressure on us will be greatly reduced. I understand. Luo Feng went away. As a matter of fact, the avatar of his godly power had been staying in the space of inheritance the whole time, and he'd been comprehending the laws in a place where time passed 10,000 times faster than on the outside. He had reached the limit of gold and space law, and all he needed was the final inspiration to become a universe master. Once he became a universe master, his Mosha body and remote ocean body would have powers at top tier level 6 as well. And then Luo Feng would have 4 bodies at top tier level 6. However, Universe Supreme Masters didn't have multiple bodies, they could only have the power at top tier level 6 in the original universe, which was why Primal Chaos City leader expected Luo Feng to become a universe master. One day in the space of inheritance is 30 years outside, said Luo Feng. It might take me dozens of eras to get the breakthrough, or just dozens of years, if I get lucky. Luo Feng was anxious, too, but he knew anxiety wouldn't help him. Only inspiration could do the trick. The demon race territory was dark and silent. A giant purple god country appeared, and a trace of green light shone, followed by a giant ship. A black oval appeared in the white light. Dream Tea, Shockhorn. Empress. Automaton. For minds communicated with each other. And then traces of light flew out from the purple oval, the ancient ship, and the black oval. Beings with powerful forces stood in the sky. The largest ones were the 4 supreme masters, a giant silver snake, a strange beast with a serrated, sawtooth shell, the beautiful bug race empress, and all the bug clan queens surrounding her. In the distance, the giant oval showed 9 eyes. He was father god of the automaton race. There were automaton universe masters around him. According to our plan, said Shock Demon Ancestor Empress, you have a supreme true treasure palace, and 80 universe masters will stay in the palace. You'll attack at the same time to form the greatest power. As for the demon race and the automaton race, we'll protect 16 universe masters respectively. Okay. We'll distribute the task now. The war would be the largest war, involving the most powers in the history of the original universe. Some powers had joined the human race, yet more powers deemed that the humans would lose. Some powers stayed neutral. As for the prison race, the crystal race, the Space Beast Alliance, the Ancestral God School, and the Northern Territory Alliance, they didn't go to them because they hadn't voiced their stances yet. There were more than 80 universe masters from the 3 races, and almost 80 universe masters went to offer their help. Some universe masters couldn't be lost, and some universe masters from other powers were held hostage, so they stayed in the miniature universe. There were 4 universe supreme masters and 112 universe masters in total. This time, we'll act together, said the Black Oval. Besides, more races will join us. Only Darkness Master, Milky Way Horde Leader, and Pengong Master have the top-tier power. I alone can deal with Darkness Master and Pengong Master. As for Luo Feng, is indeed incredible, but Empress is strong enough to deal with him. The Bug Race Empress nodded in the distance. Shock Demon Ancestor and Dream Demon Ancestor will lead the 112 Universe Masters to fight the human race, said Father God. We have the absolute advantage, and we must, and will, succeed. Kill, roared the great beings from the 3 races. Kill, the subsidiary races also roared. Kill, roared all the creatures in the sky, including flesh and blood type, rock type, and metal type. This was a war that would determine their fates. To the human territory. Father God roared. In the human territory in the primal universe, Luo Feng sat cross-legged at an elevated height in the hall. With no walls in his surroundings to block his view, he could look far into the distance within that endless void space at the other magnificent palace buildings. In preparation for the imminent battle, Luo Feng had been putting in his best as he trained hard and cultivated conscientiously. Yet he may have reached a point where there was a bottleneck that could not be rushed. To break through a critical bottleneck, there were many factors that could bring about sudden enlightenment, be it the changes within the universe or engaging in fights with other great beings midway or even during the process of teleportation. In short, there was a possibility of a breakthrough the moment one managed to gain comprehension. The mighty Thousand Treasure River spread out to cover a region of a few light years as the voice resonated in Luo Feng's mind instantaneously. Luo Feng, make your way to the main hall as quickly as you can. Teacher. Luo Feng opened his eyes right away. War is here? Without hesitation, Luo Feng rose. With an instant teleportation, he vanished. Within the quiet palaces resided numerous great beings from other races. They were entrenched in a certain area either in the form of mountain ranges or in a form that resembled meatballs that were totally green in color. Numerous pairs of eyes on these godly bodies could cause one's heart to tremble. These universe masters for the other races were not far from one another, and they were scattered all over the surroundings of Primal Chaos City Leader's palace. They were all waiting. Waiting for the war to arrive? They were aware of the danger of taking part in this war, but the dangers and benefits corresponded with one another. If the human alliance could become the third Holy Land universe, then by joining the alliance, at least their own races would be allocated a portion of the space for their own legacy. As the high-level universe masters of their race, they would be able to live longer lives. Furthermore, the humans would give part of the experiences of how to become a universe supreme master from a universe master. They were aware that the humans might not tell them everything, but perhaps they would share a tenth of what they knew. Or possibly as little as 1%, which was better than not knowing anything at all. So long as they knew a small portion, it would be greatly beneficial to them. For our race. For our race. The various universe masters were all of one mind. When it was time to fight, they had to fight. For this fight, they had charged their way in. There were many advantages to gain, but at the same time, this was a war, so there was also the risk of annihilation. Shortly after, the mighty Thousand Treasure River spread out again, as Primal Chaos City Leader's voice resonated by the ears of every single universe master. Dear universe masters, please make your way to the main hall as quickly as you can. It's coming. Finally, it's here. War? These universe masters from different races had waited for a long time, and every single one had feelings ranging from excitement to disquiet to insanity. However, they were all prepared. A short moment later, they had all teleported. In the primal universe, within the main hall of Primal Chaos City Leader's City Leader Palace, numerous figures started appearing out of nowhere. The number of great beings gathered in the hall continued to rise from 60 to 70 to 80 to 90. In a fleeting moment, everyone had arrived within the same hall. Then silence prevailed. Primal Chaos City Leader stood on the steps of the stairway and looked down. Even up to that very moment, he himself had never sat on that throne before. Dear all, he began. The great beings standing below included humans, some races that belonged to the Hong Alliance, and some races that did not belong to any main group or power. Of course, from the moment they joined the humans' camp, all scattered races would naturally become a part of the Hong Alliance. Among the large crowd of super beings in that huge hall, the one standing at the forefront was the silver-winged, armored form of Luo Feng, with his blade slung behind his back. Chubby Pengong Master with his big pot belly held onto Yang Jun Rod. And the black-robed Darkness Master exuded a silently deadly aura. The demons, the Bug Clan, and the automaton race have started making their moves, Primal Chaos City Leader said solemnly. And the three races have joined one another this time. Apparently, after we taught them such a harsh lesson by causing them to lose 6 of their universe masters, not a single one of those 3 races dared to charge into our human territory alone. They are so scared that, now, they only dare to come forward after joining forces. Smiles started to form on the faces of the great beings beneath him right away. Right? So what if there were 3 races? They were too scared of the human race all the same and could only make their moves after they joined forces. At this moment, they are already gathered. I suppose they will soon take action. Primal Chaos City Leader looked at the numerous universe masters. Now, let's follow our original plan. This war, all the universe masters who are taking part, other than Milky Way Horde Leader, Darkness Master, and Pengong Master, who have the autonomous right to take action, will all get into Black Prison Tower. Quite a handful of universe masters registered traces of relief. Black Prison Tower was a supreme true treasure. Inside, the level of security was naturally much higher. Of course, during the actual war, they would not be all hiding within the tower, otherwise, who would attack the enemy? They all had to be stationed at the exit points of Black Prison Tower where there were no obstructions. This was the only way they could attack the outside world. However, if they could attack the outside world, that meant the outside world could retaliate along the same route. But since they were at the exit points that were also the entrance points, they could certainly hide into the depth of Black Prison Tower anytime, which was much better than being out in the void space without any shield at all. Darkness Master. Primal Chaos City looked toward his younger brother. Darkness Master nodded slightly, outstretching his hand. A black pyramid appeared in the middle of his palm. Black Prison Tower? The Universe Masters from the other races all looked over with shining eyes. This was a supreme true treasure. They, from their own scattered races, would never qualify to possess such a supreme true treasure. Go? Darkness Master manipulated it with his mind, and instantly, Black Prison Tower flew to the middle of the huge hall and expanded rapidly to become a towering pyramid. Around it, 3 side doors appeared concurrently. This supreme true treasure had side doors and one main door, just like how the first level of Star Tower had many side doors all around its border, while the bottom part could split open to form a deep abyss that would swallow everything up. Or like the boat of Mausoleum, where the bottom part of the vessel could split open to form a gigantic entrance. But the boat of Mausoleum did not have a suction ability, so the smaller cabin doors along its edge were more commonly used. "Everyone, please enter," Primal Chaos City Leader said. Following his command, Long Yang Master, Ice Mountain Master, and Deserted Mirror Master from the human race walked in without hesitation. The other Universe Masters hesitated briefly and exchanged glances. Then, one by one, they walked in, too. A short moment later, within that huge hall, only a Black Prison Tower remained with Primal Chaos City Leader, Luo Feng, Darkness, and Peng Gong. "Darkness," Primal Chaos City Leader said solemnly. "In here, there is a total of 21 members who are originally from our Hong Alliance and also 70 new additions who have decided to join our force. Altogether, a total of 91. All will be under your command. This will be our most important source of power. With 91 of them joining forces, any Universe Supreme Master can be blown away or knocked out of his wits. How the 91 of them should be grouped and how they are going to attack or defend is up to your discretion." Noted. Darkness Master nodded, and without another word, he stepped into Black Prison Tower. He was the master of Black Prison Tower, which was why he could control those other races. The moment anyone tried to fool around, Darkness Master could send that member into eternal imprisonment within Black Prison Tower. Even if someone tried to escape, there was no way he could escape from that strong suction force of the supreme true treasure. In this war, Darkness Master's main task was to manage this group of 91 Universe Masters. In fact, the chances of these various races escaping during the critical moment were not high. This was because out of the 92 Universe Masters who joined the human camp, only 70 of them would be taking part in the war. The other 22 were to remain in the original universe. They were to play the roles of hostages. For example, if a certain race had 3 Universe Masters, 2 would step out onto the battlefield while the other 1 would stay behind in the original universe. The human race's excuse for such a strategy would certainly be for the lineage of these other races to have continuity. They had to divide the risk as much as possible. The other races knew the actual reason why the humans were doing so, but they would show no rejection. Actually, the demons, the automaton race, and the bug clan were all doing the same thing. "Luo Feng, Peng Gong, the rest are up to the 2 of you." Primal Chaos City Leader looked toward Luo Feng and Peng Gong Master. Luo Feng and Peng Gong Master nodded. Then Luo Feng waved, and instantly, a vessel landed within the main hall. It was the boat of Mausoleum. "Let's go," Luo Feng said. Together with Peng Gong Master, the pair flew right into the boat of Mausoleum. "Set off for the headquarters of our virtual universe and wait there patiently," Primal Chaos City Leader ordered. Black Prison Tower and the boat of Mausoleum teleported and vanished at the same time. The headquarters of the virtual universe was originally the gathering ground for domain masters, sector lords, and undying fighters of the virtual universe company, while the primal secret region was more concealed. For these 2 places, one was openly known, and the other was secretly hidden. One handled various foundational matters, while the other handled higher-level matters like the cultivation of core talents. The headquarters of the virtual universe and the primal secret region both had the universe passageways that led to the primal universe. It was also a place that the humans had to protect. Based on speculations, if the enemy wanted to attack, they would likely attack either one of the 2, either the headquarters of the virtual universe or the primal secret region. And these 2 places were now well equipped with the establishment of a stable God Country passageway. If the enemies were to attack the primal secret region, they could retreat right away. A black pyramid and an aged vessel were both floating in the void space above the headquarters of the virtual universe. "Luo Feng, are you nervous?" Peng Gong Master asked with a smile. "Of course, I am." Luo Feng let out a deep breath and looked toward Peng Gong by his side. "This is an alliance of the 3 other races, and based on the information we have, even though a number of scattered races came over to us, there were also others that went over to the other 3 races. And they have 4 Supreme Masters, W. When we truly fight them, these Supreme Masters all have an edge over us. Because Supreme Masters originally wielded 7th-tier combat powers or even 8th-tier combat power, under the suppression of the primal universe, the most they could execute was 6th tier as the top. This was why they could totally multitask without issue, like manipulating far-range attacks while engaging in close-range battle, and at the same time, unleashing combat power at the level of 6th tier as the top. One Supreme Master was easily capable of taking on 2 opponents at the same time. During the war with the demons earlier on, this had been made apparent to all. And Father God of the Automaton race and the Bug race Empress, when confronting them one-on-one, they are both much more powerful than Shock Demon Ancestor and Dream Demon Ancestor, Luo Feng whispered. This is a tough war we are facing. We still have some hope of winning this war, Peng Gong Master replied. Luo Feng nodded. Although he still felt that heaviness in his heart. Because Father God of the Automaton race and Bug race Empress were both highly skilled in group battles, and they had strange techniques that were very unpredictable. One could already catch a glance or 2 from observing the battle between the Automaton race and the Bugs. Luo Feng, Peng Gong, Darkness, these are the coordinates. The united force of the 3 races has just arrived here via their God Country transportation. Primal Chaos City leader was quick to inform Luo Feng, Darkness, and Peng Gong through the virtual universe. Understood. Noted. Setting off now. Luo Feng and the other 2 stayed very focused, as they could not afford to be distracted. The Black Pyramid and H-Boat teleported successively one after the other toward the faraway coordinates. The coordinates were extremely close to the headquarters of the virtual universe, but Luo Feng and company only needed to teleport over a distance of around 300 light-years to arrive there. In the distance, there were some lonely and quiet desert planets. Beside these desert planets, there was a star level in its final stage where it was still radiating faint and dim red light rays. It was this place within the starlit sky. A gigantic purple sphere, an aged vessel, and a black oval were all in the void space. They exuded an endless, oppressive force that caused time and space to become contorted. Even the star levels far away started to tremble under this oppression and began to undergo drastic changes. That aged vessel of the ancient civilization and the Black Pyramid appeared at the same time. The united force of the 3 races. The human camp. All gathered within this space. A beautiful figure flew out of the giant purple oval and 2 giant beings flew out of the ancient ship, yet the black oval remained still. Those forces from the 3 Universe Supreme Masters alone exerted incredible power, twisting the space and time around them. In the distance, the planets and the stars in the distance exploded like fireworks. On the human side, the door of Boat of Mausoleum opened, and 2 beings flew out, standing on top of Boat of Mausoleum and gazing out. Golden light mixed with cold sand appeared at each area of the battlefield, covering an area of 10 square light-years. It was the combination of Golden Country and Snow Sand Ocean. Although the alliance of 3 races was incredible, without a domain-type supreme true treasure, they couldn't do anything about it. We meet again, Shock Demon Ancestor and Dream Demon Ancestor. Peng Gong Master looked at the opposite side. With Luo Feng's help, his voice spread everywhere. This must be the Bug race Empress. I heard that the Empress always hides in the so-called Empress Hive when she fights in Universe Ocean, so lots of great beings say Bug Empress is a coward who always hides in the Supreme True Treasure Palace. Yet you came out today. It seems Bug Empress is not afraid of death, and everyone is wrong. Bug Empress had a Supreme True Treasure Palace called Empress Hive, or Empress Palace. You're wrong, Peng Gong. The Empress is indeed scared of death, said Luo Feng jokingly. However, in the original universe, the power of attacks can only reach top-tier level 6, so Bug Empress won't be in danger. Of course, she won't be worried about her life. I see, shouted Peng Gong Master. The human team kept laughing and shouting while the United Forces Alliance was angry. They dared to make fun of Bug Empress. However, nothing could be done about it because the domain was controlled by Luo Feng, so their voices couldn't be spread even if they shouted loudly. Father God, why do you keep hiding in that black oval? You don't even have a Supreme True Treasure Palace? Peng Gong Master shouted. Show yourself. Me, Luo Feng, Darkness Master, and other Universe Masters haven't seen what you look like. I bet he's too ugly to show himself, said Luo Feng confidently. Furious. The United Forces Alliance was furious. Shock Demon Ancestor, Dream Demon Ancestor, Bug Empress, and Father God knew that the humans were provoking them deliberately, but they were still furious. However, their voices couldn't be spread, as they were blocked by Luo Feng's domain. On the human team, Luo Feng and Pengong Master were chatting and trashing the opposite team, and their voices resounded through the space and time around both teams, yet the swearing from the United Forces Alliance was completely blocked. Kill. This was just great. The United Forces Alliance didn't even have a chance to argue back. Father God was the angriest. He was noble and royal, and all the great beings in the automaton race respected him wholeheartedly. Those universe masters were even willing to die if Father God gave the order. Pride filled Father God's heart. He was in awe of all those universe masters. Yet he was being ridiculed and getting called ugly, so of course, he was enraged. If he couldn't refute things verbally, he would use his strength. Rickety-looking figures rushed out of the oval. There were 10,081 of them, and they charged at Boat of Mausoleum. All of them were around 10,000 kilometers tall, had 8 arms and 2 legs, and were made of metal. They all had braids on their heads. Father God is infuriated. Pengong Master was shocked and transmitted his voice to Luo Feng. He has 10,081 puppets in his puppet army. Based on our information, he only uses 9,000 puppets, at most, when he's adventuring in Universe Ocean. Luo Feng transmitted his voice. Simple. It's very dangerous in Universe Ocean, and other Universe Supreme Masters are difficult to deal with. He might lose some of his puppets if he gets caught in a fight. Every one of them is at least as valuable as an ordinary true treasure, so Father God would never use them all like this. However, in the original universe, top-tier level 6 power is the maximum power allowed, so he doesn't need to worry about losing puppets. Of course, he will use them all. Luo Feng gazed at the puppets flying toward them. The two teams were far away from each other, so even if they flew at near light speed, it would take them a long time to arrive. The puppets. Father God must be following the group technique of the machine type from the ancient civilization, Luo Feng thought. He had gotten the inheritance from Duan Dong River, and he had read lots of information about it. He knew a lot about machine types. Compared to the machine type from the ancient civilization, Father God's skills were primitive. Father God couldn't make powerful machines, so he could only use massive quantities to make up for it. Machine types had the characteristics of replicability, so they could follow the group technique. However, real supreme beings could create a machine type valuable like Boat of Mausoleum or even Universe Boat. These were valuables that were soul entities but were incredibly powerful. It's primitive, and the supreme beings from the ancient civilization can easily annihilate them, thought Luo Feng. In Universe Ocean, especially in the original universe, I can't do anything to it. Father God is an intelligent life form and can fully utilize a group technique. He could tell instantly that the 10,081 puppets used precious materials, at least materials used for pinnacle true treasures. None of the puppets cost much. They were small but could grow or shrink under godly power like Boat of Mausoleum and other true treasures. All of them combined, however, were equal to a supreme true treasure. They couldn't be broken. As for swallowing them using Star Tower or Black Prison Tower, that wouldn't work either. Under the power of Father God, those 10,081 puppets would act as one, they could easily shrug off the swallowing power. If they could be easily swallowed, Father God would have lost many puppets while adventuring in Universe Ocean. Let's enter the Dark Universe. Luo Feng transmitted his voice. Okay, Pengong Master answered, and Darkness Master received the information. Boat of Mausoleum and Black Prison Tower reached light speed and entered the Dark Universe. I know they're going in the Dark Universe. Shock Demon Ancestor roared. Go into the Dark Universe. Finally, the voice could be spread. The Dark Universe. Universe Supreme Masters could all be 10 times or even 100 times faster than light speed, so it would be at a disadvantage to fight them in the original universe. The human team didn't have any Universe Supreme Masters, so they chose to enter the Dark Universe, and after entering the Dark Universe, they could choose to return to the original universe. The puppet team showed up less than 1 second after Luo Feng and Pengong Master entered the Dark Universe. Every puppet roared, and burning godly power drove them in the same way Luo Feng would drive spiritual force weapons. Father God utilized his artificial features, as he was the only Supreme Master able to do that. His multitasking abilities were the best in Universe Ocean. Artificial lives, such as Barbata, had peak calculation abilities even when they were weak. After becoming undying, his calculation abilities well surpassed all undying fighters. As for Father God, even 1/100th of his controlling ability was better than other Universe Supreme Masters. The 10,081 puppets were quickly divided into two teams and charged at Luo Feng and Pengong Master. The 5,000 puppets hit Luo Feng at almost the same time. All were accurate, and the power was perfectly combined. Even Luo Feng didn't dare to attempt resisting it directly. Although he was wearing crazy demon extermination godly armor, his godly body was 100 times weaker than top-tier Universe Masters. Defend. Luo Feng used his blood shadow blade to block it, and the blade became enormous, blocking the attacks. Break. Pengong Master roared and waved Yang Jun Rod. They were hit at the same time, and boat of Mausoleum was pushed slightly back. Pengong Master's Yang Jun Rod extended and formed armor that was as powerful as crazy demon extermination godly armor. Pengong Master was also a Universe Master with 10,000 times life gene level, so he was better at defense than Luo Feng. Although it's powerful, this is not unexpected. Pengong Master transmitted his voice to Luo Feng. Luo Feng and Pengong Master should have bounced back if the attack had been at top-tier level 6. Luo Feng transmitted his voice in reply. It's not that powerful. Perhaps only when all the puppets attack altogether can they reach top-tier level 6. That's the suppression from the original universe. If he can fully utilize every puppet, the suppression from the original universe will be rendered useless. The group technique has a limited amount of power, Pengong Master said, relieved. This video will end here.